Good to YouTube. Today we're going to talk about MMR, specifically MMR in ESO PvP and how it works and what is it all about. Now, what does MMR stand for? A quick search will actually reveal to you that it stands for Matchmaking Rating. It is kind of the numbers that are crunched behind the scenes, and then the server decides how good of a player that you are. It assigns a kind of like a hidden report card ranking to your playing ability and capability based on your experiences and your previous gameplay, right? So it used that to try to pitch you against opponents of the same level so that your playing time would be more enjoyable. You don't get to crush newbies and lose interest because there's no challenge. Then neither do you get crushed by players that offer much higher competency rate. In the case of ESO, however, nobody really knows how the MMR work, and then questions have been asked since 4 to 5 years ago. Just what is MMR in ESO? Because it is the track record in ESO Battlegrounds and Cyrodiil can be quite iffy. You just end up going against opponents that are far above your ranking, or you end up going against newbies that are far below your ranking. So there don't seem to be any consistency in how MMR works. Now recently, the ESO PvP designer Brian Wheeler came out to give an interview for PC Games, and I read through the article and he tried to explain it in a very strange way about what MMR is in ESO. He speaks a lot, but after I read the article, I find that I learned nothing. Okay, I quote, "What's funny is it's nothing new. We had the MMR system since update 20. When we launched Battlegrounds with Morrowind, we had a pretty basic MMR that was based on your win-loss, and that's it. What we explored after that was looking at ELO and true skill and various things like that, because what it's supposed to do is to take into account your expected win rate, which is basically the MMR of your enemies." Well, take what you will from what he just said. I do get the first part where the MMR in ESO is determined by your win-loss, right? Basically, if you win, your MMR goes up. Your ranking, your hidden ranking within the MMR system is higher, and then you are supposed to be paired up to go against players of the same level, but that's really not the case. So let's say we're in a group and the system gets the MMR average of our group, and then it goes, what's the group, what's the enemy's MMR, what's their ranking, and their average. So he's trying to tally that really what they're trying to do right now that Battlegrounds has been shrunk to one team versus the other team is a little bit easier and more transparent to put players of the same level against each other. Let's say you have a team of 4, so maybe there will be 2 high ranking MMRs per team rather than 4 on one side and then 4 average players on the other side. It's a little bit easier for the calculation to happen. The irony is that even though it is easier and more transparent if it's 4v4 or 8v8, but I still have trouble trying to get into BG games sometimes because there's just not enough players signing up, and I think they have trouble searching for players of that specific MMR to fit in, and as a result the game will be cancelled if you do not fill up your roster of 4. The only calculation change we had to make was whether it's looking at 2 other teams or just one other team in terms of you going to win or you not going to win. He says the calculations has always been based on win-loss, and it's very interesting seeing how much more people are getting interested in that because blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, so it's just confirming what I've just said, right? There's a limit as to how much developers will share. They might be open to abuse if the full MMR calculations ever became known. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I don't know. If I were to know, like, every single checklist of the things that determines my MMR, I would probably try to work towards achieving a mid-level MMR so that I can always be paired up against either newbies, people in the mid-level, and I don't have to go against very strong players. Maybe that's what they meant by abuse lah, I don't know. But in any case, there's always ways to lower your MMR, and it's been like no secret all along. If you find that you've been having consecutively bad BG experiences because you're going against sweaty ball groups that cannot be deleted, right? What you need to do is to just go into this game, don't do any damage, don't get any assists, stand there, be a punching bag, and after 2 rounds where you get completely obliterated with 0 points, right, your MMR will drop and your next couple of games will be really healthy for you. Try that, you know, it works for me. You know, part of me also think that by not revealing the full extent of the MMR calculations, right, maybe there are things that ESO is trying to hide. Maybe there are things in their PvP calculations that are not consistent, not professional enough, that's a little bit dodgy and iffy. We all know that the Battlegrounds experience can be really random and strange shit can happen all the time. So maybe by not being transparent, they can hide some of these things. I also think that the kind of players that play PvP in ESO are quite limited in the pool, so sometimes the server really has no choice but to pair up high MMR against low MMR because there's just not enough players of a particular bandwidth to go around to play this game, especially in the off-peak hours, right? So who knows. But anyway, leave your comments below and let's have a conversation about MMR. It can be interesting, but I don't really think it is a very significant factor in your... Oh, no, I can't really say that. It is a significant factor in your BG experience, but maybe it's not as important as what some of us make it out to be. Surely we know too little about it. For sure, MMR in other games are a lot more transparent, where like in Team Fortress 2, right? The MMR is very clear and the gameplay is very obviously engineered to try to be as balanced as possible at the end of the day. In ESO, it is not so apparent, it's not so successful, it's not so visible, and like I said, I think it's just down to the number of players that are available playing this. Okay, leave your comments in the comments below. All are welcome as usual. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care and goodbye.